Hello Vaishnavi, after so long, how are you? Hello Syed, hello Drew, where were you dear?
Good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good dear Vaishnavi, so like after so long.
Yes, ma'am, because I had midterms and the gap days were very less. Like, I had chemistry, then just one day gap, but one day 9 chapters, so it was very hard to cover.
Okay, how was your exam?
It was good, ma'am.
Okay, have you got your marks?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay, okay dear
I
Vaishnavi.
got term one, which was out of 50, I got 46
Arey
that
wah,
time.
that's really nice. So make sure that you are sharing marks of this term also.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes dear, so Drew also joining had a lot of events and tournaments in school. Okay Drew, so dear, all the kids who have missed some classes, make sure that you're watching recorded sessions for those. And today our this chapter would be over, no? And new chapter, locomotion movement. After that, 2 chapters more, and then syllabus would be over. And yes, we have to cover cockroach also, because that's not in the CBSE syllabus, but it's there in the NEET exam. So all the kids who are preparing for the NEET, they would definitely attend those classes, okay? And but it's not mandatory for the kids who are preparing for only purely CBSE exam. So we have Anandi, we have Syed, Zahra. Zahra, you were not there in the previous class. Where were you?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, on Saturday, I went up with my family because it was my mom's birthday on Saturday, so we had to go out.
Got it, got it. So we have Anandi, we have Zehra, we have Habiba, we have Samavia, Azlia, Habiba, Drew, Syed, Vaishnavi, Zerusha. I'm good, dear. How are you, kids? So please switch on your camera beyond the screen, and you have to be very active throughout the chat. I mean, throughout the session in the chat box, or you can use your mic, or in the poll. As I would remove you from the class, I can randomly take like 3-4 names and would be asking you to summarize the full things that we did in 4-5 words. And we have Sidra. Sidra, you are also joining after so long, I guess. No, you were there in the previous class, but you missed many classes, I guess.
Mom was in the beginning of the year, mom.
Okay. So dear, make sure that you are watching all the recorded session that you missed. So please switch on your camera beyond the screen. Those kids who are having any issues, please share it in the chat box. And you have to be active throughout the session. This is the last session for this chapter, that is excretory waste products and their elimination. Last lecture. So in one batch, this batch is merged, right? So we have both A and B batch in this. I mean today at this time, zoology class. So dear C, we already have done like micturition in one batch, urine in like B batch, and one regulation part. So it will hardly take 15 minutes. So let's cover it up for the the A batch. So we have said Drew, Eslia, Habiba. I got 66 out of 70. Areva, that's real nice, Alina. Keep it up, dear. And you have to keep, this thing high. Like you have to get 60. I mean, like just take this 70 out of 70, right? In the next exam. So you have to keep that bar high for you always. The portion was full human physio and living world. Okay, okay. So, Elena, once our syllabus would be over, I'm sure you will be getting full 70 out of 70. Yes. So, we have Sara, Afifa, Elena, Sidra, Samavia. So, all the kids, please switch on your camera and be on the screen. In case you have an issue, you can write down. And we will be starting our lecture. Okay, so I told you that in B batch, we already have completed some of the topics and which we have not covered in the A batch. So I'm just taking that topic, again, micturition, urea, urine formation, and other is regulation part. Okay. So we have Ibrahim with us. So let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we will be starting with the lecture. Today we will complete this and I will introduce you to the new chapter, that's locomotion and movement. After that, we have 2 chapters and 1 cockroach portion from the structural organization in animals for NEET exam. Then full syllabus is over. We will start revision. I can see Zerusha and Vaishnavi on the screen. Please kids, switch on your camera beyond the screen. You have to be super active in the chat. Zuha, Rida also joined us. I don't have webcam. Okay, Asli having issues with the webcam. Okay, dear. Okay, got it. What about the kids? Why are not on the screen? Okay, Drew's like, Mom, in my room, the network bandwidth is low. So, okay, got it, Drew. I can see Said also on the screen. So kids, let's start it then. You know, we already have completed micturition part in one batch. So let's quickly see it for the other batch, right? I already have brought this slide, these slides here. So this is the structure of the urinary bladder, which we already have seen in structure of the excretory system. So this is the structure of the urinary bladder. We know it has this muscle known as detrusor muscle, which is stretchable. It has stretch receptor, detrusor muscle. So whenever urinary bladder filled with the urine, so this stretch receptor and muscles get stretched, stretch receptor will receive that signal and send it to the brain for, to send the signal to the body for the urge of urination, and then it will be sending signal to the muscles for contraction and keep the urine, throw the urine out, right? So we are just going to see all those things which we already covered in one batch. So let's see micturition. What is micturition? Obviously process of releasing urine out. So urine formed by nephron, as we already have seen, carried to the urinary bladder, where it is stored till a voluntary signal is given by central nervous system. So we know it's stored in the urinary bladder, and then stretch receptor gets activated, sends signal to the brain that now urinary bladder is filled. So you just generate this signal that urge of urination, and then you'll go to washroom and this muscle will contract, voluntary sphincter will open, involuntary ultimately open, and urine will come out, right? So dear, see how exactly all this stuff work. Activation of stretch receptor first of urinary bladder at 500 ml urine, and process of release of urine is the micturition. So whenever this urinary bladder is filled, central nervous system giving voluntary signal to you, the urge of micturition, then what will happen? The stretch receptors get activated, right? When the urinary bladder filled with the 500 ml urine, and this process of release of urine is the micturition. So what is the full process? Our urinary bladder can store maximum up to 800 ml urine in the urinary bladder. That is the maximum capacity of urinary bladder. When urinary bladder is filled with the urine, like 500 it will, the stretch receptor gets activated. But our body has ability to hold the urine for some time, right? So, Ma'am, today we did this topic in school. In between, a girl asked if she can go to the washroom. Everyone, including the teacher, laughed. Okay, so in my room, the network. Okay, Zahra. So activation of stretch receptor. So what was the psychology? Is it psychological that whenever we are talking about the micturition, your brain ultimately generate that signal? It's contagious, do you think? Yes, it is contagious. So see, if talking this stuff is contagious, so that's why you have to always protect yourself from the people who are negatively influencing you, Scientifically proved. So many things are contagious, by the way. Even yawning contagious, laugh contagious, even stress contagious. So when urinary bladder is filled with the urine, activation of stretch receptor will happen, as I told you, and stretch receptor present in the detrusor muscle of the urinary bladder. They, via the sensory nerve, they send signal to the brain. Which part of brain? Cerebral cortex part. And this cerebral cortex part will generate the, this urge of urination, and also, okay, so send signal via parasympathetic neural system and sacral nerve. So it will generate urge of urination, or micturition, And also they send signal via parasympathetic neural system and sacral spinal nerve. So it is the part of spinal nerve in the sacral area, right? So sacral area is the lower back of our body. There the spinal cord, the part of the spinal cord is known as the sacral. From there the nerves arise and sending signal to the urinary bladder. So they send signal to urinary bladder muscle, which cause contraction of urinary bladder muscle, and also relax both the sphincter. What are the sphincter? We saw external and internal sphincter. There I told you that this internal sphincter are involuntary, not in our control, but external urethral sphincter are in our control. So we can control the urine to certain extent, and obviously our body has given us some control, but to certain limit, because our body also know that if this person trying to push the limit, then I need to open this, relax the sphincter, and then it's uncontrollable, right? And micturition will happen. So dear, we saw that in the full process, only central nervous system is involved, only neural system involved, only nerves are involved, no chemical involved here. So this neural mechanism cause micturition reflex, only neural mechanism, no chemical, no hormones involved in it. So we called this micturition reflex neural mechanism. That is important. They may confuse you sometime asking that, okay, micturition is chemical and neural mechanism. No, it is only neural mechanism. That's important. So kids, I hope this is clear, how exactly the micturition process generated and micturition happened, right? This reflex generated and urination, yes. So now the urine that's coming out from the body, daily secretion of urine is around 1 to 1.5 to 2 liter. So you have to, what was the last topic done? Quiz, I think. I missed one class. Yes, Samavia. So in B batch, we already completed this. And in A batch, we finished till concentration of urine. How our body generate the concentrated urine, how to conserve water in the body. And water is conserved in the body means concentrated urine is formed. So that was the last topic. No, Samavia. And in other batch, in batch B, we completed all this stuff. So I'm just repeating this for the A batch. Okay, dear. Now you just see this. Daily secretion is around 1.5 liter. Color pale yellow because of the urochrome. Due to presence of urochrome, this is the pigment. pH of the urine is approximately 6, acidic. It has characteristic odor because of certain chemical present in it. It contains water, urea, water-soluble vitamin, little amount of uric acid, creatinine, different solutes. We saw in secretion in this filtrate part, right? 20 to 30 gram urea is excreted per day. Very important. So kids, they would ask you that what is the amount of urea release out, excreted out in the urine? 20 to 30 gram per day, right? And on an average, in normal, like if we see our blood, if we test our blood, normally our blood have like 15 to 17 milligram per 100 ml blood urea present in it. So that's the normal quantity, right? If glucose present in urine, generally glucose not present in urine, but the people who are having diabetes, high blood sugar, in their case, in urine, glucose will be there. So glucose present, known as glucosuria or glycosuria, and ketone bodies present in urine called ketonuria. So these two conditions, glycosuria and ketonuria, is not the normal urine condition. This condition known as, it indicates diabetes mellitus, means high blood pressure, high blood sugar in the body, right? So patient is diabetic, sugar diabetic. Anuria means failure of kidney to produce urine because of kidney failure, right? Formation of, these are the conditions. These are the disorder condition. Formation of stones. And what is that stone, kidney stone? We called it renal calculi. So that stone is basically insoluble mass of crystallized salt, especially calcium and oxalate salt within the kidney. What happened? We are intaking food, nutrient, and those nutrients having calcium, they have this oxalate salt. And when you are not taking enough water, these salt aggregate and crystallized in the kidney. And when they form the big crystal, it obstruct the passage, there's the ureter passage. And the big, crystal scratch the ureter. And because of that, it cause intense pain in the abdominal area. Have you seen kidney stone patient crying over the pain? Because it's so intense pain. And why it happens? Because of the scratching in the internal tubes cause intense pain in the body. It is indication that there is some issues. My mother got once. Yes, dear. Sometime doctor give medicine to dissolve these crystals. Luckily, they got dissolved. But sometime when they are bigger in size and they cannot be dissolved, so they do the surgeries to remove these crystals out of the body. Yes, some people say that have kidney stones due to eating a lot of the chips. Oh dear, it's because of, when you are intaking excess of salts and all, and when dehydrated, body is dehydrated, that is like a cause for kidney stone formation. And I'm sure you kids have heard about the gallbladder stone also. That is due to cholesterol. So when a and our lifestyle, the food that we consume, so we know that gallbladder store that this bile juice, and which contain huge amount of cholesterol. Sometimes it get crystallized there, and then it cause this gallbladder stone, right? So that is the different salt, different chemicals. So first, find the correct step of micturition. Urine filled in urinary bladder. Okay, what is the step? We already saw. Stretch receptor activation. You kids tell me, what is the step of micturition? Correct step. Dilates means relax. So all of you have to respond in the chat in case not getting the poll. After this, we have to see regulation part, which we have not done in both the batches. All the kids, write down your answer in the chat box. Okay, I've got answer from Zehra, from Elena. Zehra. Okay, let's see. So dear, I told you, first of all, urine filled in the urinary bladder. Then step receptor get activated. Then urinary bladder sends signal to central nervous system. Motor message from central nervous system to urinary. Okay, then it will send signal to the urinary bladder and urethra sphincter. And bladder contract and sphincter leads to micturition. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E. This is the perfect answer. Okay, dear. So A is perfect answer here. Anandi, Zerusha, Drew, Vaishnavi, Aslia, keep it up, kids. Next question. Neural mechanism of micturition is called? Micturition reflex, simplex reflex, condition reflex, all of these. You kids know. Okay, so I've got answer from Samavia. Reader Samavia said, okay, this is for the previous question, I guess. So kids, please write down your answer. Samavia wrote the answer for this. Aslia wrote the answer for this. I just told you that neural mechanism is called dash. Please switch on your camera. So it would be known as micturition reflex, right? A is the perfect answer. Zirusha, Vaishnavi, Dhruv, Aslia, Syed, Sidra. Next question for you kids, regulation of kidney function. In one batch, we already completed the first part, that is neural regulation. Neural means your brain, part of brain is controlling this kidney function. How? Let's see. So dear C, whenever there's the decrease in the blood volume, and when blood volume decrease, when our body is dehydrated, lots of the loss of water happen, right? So in that condition, blood ka volume, because blood volume maintained by water, and blood volume decrease means water decrease in the blood, and it happened due to excessive loss of fluid from the body, which will ultimately decrease the renal blood flow, means kidney not receiving the enough blood because blood volume down, and GFR rate also decreases, right? Now what will happen? Osmoreceptor of our kidney gets activated. These are the special receptor sending signal to the part of the brain known as hypothalamus, and hypothalamus cause the urge of thirst. So you will drink water. We will see in the neural control coordination, the function of hypothalamus is to create the urge of thirst, urge of hunger. So you will drink water, right? So that water can be absorbed in the body. And laterwards, it is secreting antidiuretic hormone and also stimulate posterior pituitary gland to release okay. So hypothalamus secrete antidiuretic hormone, and this antidiuretic hormone stored and released by the posterior pituitary gland, secreted by hypothalamus, stored and released by posterior. So it will be stimulating posterior pituitary gland to release ADH. And you know that this ADH will act on kidney, right? So we don't get thirsty. It is our hypothalamus which make us thirsty, right? Oh, because our body demands it, dear. Malhar, like you are asking me that we don't feel thirsty, it's our hypothalamus. Yes, that's true. So we some mysterious. So dear, see, when we talk about the ADH, it acts on the kidney, right? So reabsorption of water from DCT and collecting duct. So ADH act on the distal part of nephron. Distal means DCT and collecting duct we saw. And which obviously absorb water from the collecting duct, from the DCT, and prevent diuresis. Diuresis means excessive loss of water will be prevented, concentrated urine be formed, and water will be conserved. That water will be absorbed in the body, and blood volume and GFR rate ultimately will be maintained, will increase, right? And once they are increased, again they will send signal to the brain, hypothalamus, that now you just stop the activity. So it generate the feedback mechanism also, feedback loop also, okay dear? And also ADH act as the vasoconstrictor. Vaso means blood vessel, constrictor means constrict, decrease diameter. You'll be like, why? Because you know, when diameter of blood vessel decreases, blood pressure will increase there in certain blood vessels, right? Cause constriction of capillaries, especially glomerulus capillaries, afferent arteriole, which ultimately, so from back end, blood is coming with the flow, and when they decrease in the size, it is like increasing, its pressure increasing in the glomerulus ultimately. So they increase blood pressure and GFR. And I told you that, you know, when blood pressure, GFR back to the normal, increase then required, then it will be sending signal to hypothalamus. Now stop, feedback mechanism. Now you just stop, right? Deficiency of ADH. So you know the function of ADH now. You tell me what will happen in the body when there is the deficiency of ADH. When anti means against, prevent. Diuresis means loss of water. It prevent loss of water from the body. So yes, when deficiency, loss of the water would be more. No conserved water, water won't be conserved, right? And diluted urine would be there. So that means it cause the excessive loss of water in the urine. That is called polyuria. Poly means excessive loss of water in urine, excessive urine, right? And that condition due to deficiency of ADH known as diabetes insipidus. Don't get confused in the diabetes mellitus, which is the present of sugar in the, or blood sugar people, right? Diabetes, high blood sugar people known as diabetic mellitus people, whereas these are insipidus. Insipidus means tasteless urine, right? Insipidus means urine do not have any taste. Why? Because it becomes so diluted. It has huge amount of water now, diluted, right? Doesn't have any taste. So dear, next mechanism is RAS mechanism. Important, you will find good question from this topic, and I'm starting it. Listen to me carefully and write it down. RAS mechanism. Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone, all these are hormone system known as RAS. Renin angiotensin mechanism. So what is it, dear? We know juxta glomerular apparatus. Remember, what is it? I told you. You kids tell me, what is it? What all structure make juxtaglomerular apparatus? Podocyte? Yes,
The
dear.
distal convergent tubule and the afferent arteria.
Right, Anandi. It was your question in the previous class, right?
Yes.
So, juxtaglomerular apparatus. It is formed by it is like point of contact of afferent arteriole and DCT, distal convoluted tubule. And I told you, at the point of their contact, cells are modified. Macula densa cell, and we have this juxtaglomerular cell. We did it in the previous classes. So dear, why this juxtaglomerular apparatus region gets sensitive to? Whenever blood has low sodium ion, it gets activated, right? So when we talk about the juxtaglomerular apparatus, operate this full mechanism. What is it? How exactly it works? So I will write down JGA, right? So whenever there's the decrease in sodium ion, decrease in the sodium ion concentration, and because sodium ion solute decrease in the blood, ultimately GFR and all will also decrease. And this, especially this sodium ion concentration decrease, will stimulate this juxtaglomerular apparatus region, right? Juxtaglomerular apparatus region. And what will happen? Secretion of renin. And we know juxtaglomerular apparatus has two type of cell, macula densa cell and juxtaglomerular cell. So now renin will be secreted. Okay, dear. So focus here. RE single N. See, renin with single N is the factor released by the kidney to maintain the sodium ion and GFR rate. Whereas renin with double N is the part of digestion. So in the infant, in the newly born babies, it was, in the chapter which is deleted from the 11th now, digestion chapter, their stomach have this renin enzyme with double N. And that enzyme is, used for milk protein digestion, casein milk protein digestion. But dear, we don't have to see that double N wala renin, that's enzyme, it is hormone. So sometime in option, they give you two options, renin with single N, renin with double N. You should know that they are different because sometimes students get confused in the spellings, okay? So this renin is with single N. So renin from juxtaglomerular cell, JGC, or I'm writing JG cell, juxtaglomerular cell. And this renin now, this released in the renal vein, in the blood, renin via this blood vein reaches in the blood, and in the blood we have already this factor called angiotensinogen. In the blood we have angiotensinogen. It is gen means inactive. This is inactive protein, inactive factor. And it is secreted by the liver in the blood. So it came from liver in blood. This inactive enzyme gets activated in the presence of renin into angiotensin 1. And this is happening in the blood, angiotensin 1. Now this angiotensin 1 in presence of ACE. What is ACE? It is angiotensin converting enzyme, which is secreted by the alveoli of your lung, and alveoli of lung secreting it in the blood. So ultimately all these factors, all these enzymes present already in the blood from different parts, okay? So dear, see, what is the full form of ACE? I'm just writing down it in the note. So ACE is angiotensin converting enzyme. And it is secreted by alveoli of lung. secreted by lung alveoli, alveoli of lung. Simple. So that is the AC. It is converted into angiotensin II. So now we will see the purpose of angiotensin II. What is the function? So when we talk about angiotensin II, I'm writing its first function. It stimulates secretion of aldosterone hormone. Aldosterone, we saw this hormone earlier. Aldosterone hormone from which gland?
Adrenal gland.
That's true. Adrenal cortex region. Adrenal cortex, not medulla, it's cortex. Cortex, I told you, it's the adrenal gland. If you see the transverse section of that gland, which is present just above the kidney, its outer portion known as cortex and inner portion known as medulla, right? So, hormone from the adrenal cortex. And what is the purpose of this aldosterone hormone? We know reabsorption. It increases sodium ion reabsorption. Reabsorption from collecting duct, from DCT, from distal part of nephron. Distal means later part of nephron, okay? Distal part of nephron. And when sodium ion reabsorption started, increase in amount, it will be sending signal to the, more sodium ion send signal to hypothalamus. And you know what is the purpose of hypothalamus? It will cause the urge of thirst. You will drink water because sodium ion increased in the blood. Now it will be sending signal to hypothalamus that you maintain the water level, because we have to maintain salt water both together. You will drink water, and hypothalamus also trigger posterior pituitary gland to release ADH. You know the purpose of ADH. No, so I'm not writing it again. So send signal to hypothalamus, and you know what all thing will happen. So I'm just directly writing down that it will stimulate posterior pituitary gland, posterior pituitary gland, for what? To reabsorb water from DCT and collecting duct. And ultimately, what will happen when water is reabsorbed? More GFR, more blood volume, blood pressure. Ultimately, you know how actually it increases all these things. So everything is maintained, and again signal will be sent to the hypothalamus, feedback loop, that now you just stop secreting ADH and all. Everything is controlled. Yes, dear. So this process will again happen. What is the second purpose of angiotensin II? Second purpose of angiotensin II is, it is the strong vasoconstrictor. Strong, act as strong vasoconstrictor, and they are constricting certain capillaries, which will be helping in increase GFR rate, glomerular filtration rate. Ultimately, blood pressure will increase. Ultimately, you know, things will be maintained. And third function of angiotensin II, third function is, it also act on proximal convoluted tubule to reabsorb sodium ion, because ultimately the purpose is to increase sodium ion, reabsorb sodium ion, and indirectly all these things will be maintained like this, okay? So dear, that's all. This is about the RAS mechanism. Is it clear how RAS mechanism maintaining sodium ion, GFR and overall thing in the kidney? Yes, dear. Now they will be asking you many questions, good question, objective type, subjective type from the RAS. It is multi-hormonal system, because we saw 3 hormone. In the name itself, we have 3 hormone. So it is the multi-hormonal system. Multi-hormonal system or mechanism, which increase GFR and sodium ion in the blood, and ultimately water reabsorptions and all. because everything need to be maintained. Salt and water need to be maintained. Triple annoying system. Zahra, are you annoyed by these beautiful hormones? See how beautifully they are controlling your all the blood pressure and all. So the other one is the atrial natriuretic factor. Very important, and this is working opposite to the other system. So far we saw neural mechanism, we saw RAS mechanism, and you know what is the purpose of ANF? It is just switching off RAS mechanism. It is like stopping RAS mechanism. It is decreasing blood pressure. So whenever BP is so high and your atria of the heart sense high BP, it starts secreting atrial natriuretic factor, and it will be like, stop blood pressure and all, right? I mean, like, stop this water reabsorption, stop this sodium ion reabsorption, release it out from the urine, because we have to lower down the blood pressure. So ultimately it is working opposite than two system that we saw, two regulation that we saw so far. Okay dear, let's see. So atrial natriuretic factor, that is ANF, opposes regulation of RAS, and if it is opposes, that means it is triggering the excretion of sodium ion, water release from the body. So it opposes regulation of RAS, opposes regulation of RAS. RAS mechanism won't work. Simple. And it increases the blood flow. Whenever there is the increase in blood flow and high BP in atria of heart, it secrete ANF, cause ANF secretion. Atria secrete ANF. Now, what is the purpose of ANF? First of all, it will switch off RAS, and you know the purpose of RAS, it will be stopped. Okay dear? So it will switch off RAS mechanism, this full RAS system. So ultimately, GFR rate will go down, and blood volume, blood pressure, everything will drop, and also it inhibit sodium reabsorption. Main function of RAS is sodium ion reabsorption. And you know, sodium ion when increase in the blood cause high blood pressure. I'm sure you kids have heard this in normal at your household also, that you know, don't eat so much sugar, salt, and BP would be high. So sodium ion always increase the blood pressure. Whenever you eat something very salty, you full day you feel like urge of drinking water. What happened? Urge of thirst. Right, no, like you feel thirsty. So dear, you know, that is because our body has to balance this salt and water in the body. Yes, so sodium ion increase blood pressure, lekin ANF has to decrease blood pressure. So ultimately it will inhibit sodium ion reabsorption. Inhibit sodium ion reabsorption. And increase excretion of sodium ion. Increase excretion of sodium ion in urine. Simple. When we talk about the ANF here, it causes vasodilation of blood vessels, and ultimately GFR and blood pressure, because of this blood pressure go down. When blood pressure decreases, GFR rate will also go down. So that means ANF actually functioning opposite to the system that we saw. In decreasing, they get stimulated when BP and this blood flow, blood volume increase in the body. Okay dear, that's all. So I hope this is clear. Yep, after one, true. So over secretion of the ADH. So kids, I hope this is clear. Okay, so the last mechanism is myogenic autoregulation. So I pasted this flow chart here for you kids. Let's see what is it. So this is the fourth mechanism. Myoregulation means muscle itself regulating the kidney function. Muscle of blood vessels. Let's see. Whenever blood pressure in atria increase, afferent arteriole blood pressure also increase, and atrial wall stretch. And this myogenic stretch receptor means muscles. Obviously, we know that arteries, veins made up of the muscle. They have the muscle wall. They have this receptor. It will sense that high pressure in the blood vessel, and they will increase the calcium ion channel on the muscle itself. So muscle of the blood vessel having calcium ion channel, they will open, and influx of calcium from ECF to vascular smooth muscle cells. What does it mean? These are the muscle cell of the blood vessel. Calcium that is present in the blood or outside the blood, in the fluid. So that calcium will, from the calcium channel, they will migrate to the muscle of the blood vessel. So see, influx means inward movement of calcium from extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid means fluid that is present outside cell. It can be blood, it can be fluid that is present here. Any from ECF to blood vessel. Vascular smooth muscle cell means blood vessel smooth muscle cell, which increase contraction. So dear, you know what? Whenever muscle have more calcium, it causes strong contraction. And because of that contraction of muscle, they are resisting the blood flow. When the contraction of blood vessels initiate, they are actually resisting. So these increase contraction of vascular smooth muscle. Vascular means blood vessel smooth muscle, and increase the vasoconstriction. And that vasoconstriction along these vessels are so strong that ultimately they are minimizing changes in the afferent arterial blood flow and minimize changes. What does it mean? So dear, whenever blood pressure increase, so we have to control the excess blood flow in the glomerulus and afferent arteriole. So whenever our blood vessel senses that high BP, they activate their muscle itself, muscle stretch receptor, right? And those muscle receptor have the calcium ion channel which will open, and this calcium will from the blood, from the extracellular fluid, it will migrate to the muscle, vascular smooth muscle, which cause intense contraction. And that contraction means constricting the blood vessel and resisting the blood flow or controlling the blood flow in the afferent arteriole, so that intense blood flow won't be there in the afferent arteriole, and we can maintain the process, we can decrease, we can control this stuff. So dear, this myogenic autoregulation, controlling the GFR rate, minimizing the change in the GFR when BP is super high, because it can damage the kidney. That's why high blood pressure, this hypertension people have the chances of kidney failure and the eye failure. Oh, have you heard about this? It causes blindness. When the BP is high, it causes blindness, or it can damage the kidney, because when blood flow is super high in the glomerulus, in the eyes, it can cause the blindness, or it can cause the failure of internal organs, internal delicate organ. So in that condition, our blood vessels already have that mechanism, inbuilt mechanism, intrinsic mechanism, that they are controlling blood flow, they are minimizing the change of GFR and afferent arterial blood flow. As simple. So kids, if this is clear, in case of hypertension, this thing would happen. So that it is controlling GFR and blood pressure in the afferent arteriole. It is preventing rupturing of these vessels and kidney failure. No dear? In case you have any doubt on this page, please ask. Okay, so...
Ma'am,
yes, dear.
Ma'am, the BP is high, so when the vessels constrict, it will be increased again, right?
Right. But I told you, when the constriction of afferent arteriole and capillaries happen, that time BP increase. But what is happening over here? Arterial, overall arterial, when afferent arterial blood pressure increase, arterial means all the artery that is directing blood towards the kidney. Those arteries are activating the mechanism intensely, so that constriction will resist the, or will decrease the flow in the afferent arteriole. So ultimately GFR and BP will be regulated there. Getting it, dear? Again, it depends that which artery, to what extent they are contracting. So just imagine we are narrowing down the pipe here. So blood flow will decrease, water flow will decrease, so that we can control the water flow in kidneys, I mean like in the pipeline ahead. So suppose we have the big pipe and then we have small pipe ahead. So we are controlling water flow here only. So it will be controlled ahead. So that is the mechanism of myogenic regulation. So it is like intense contraction. Okay, how eyes and kidney damage or internal organ damage due to high BP, dear C? High BP, our eyes and our kidneys have very delicate, or brain have very delicate, or internal organ have very delicate capillaries. So when BP is high and putting pressure there in those delicate arteries, delicate, capillaries, what will happen? Rupture. No, so those capillaries will rupture, the small delicate vessels will rupture and cause the hemorrhage or death. So I'm sure you have heard about the death, brain hemorrhage, eye hemorrhage, kidney failure due to high BP. High BP is very dangerous. So kids, I hope this is clear. Any questions so far? Can you re-explain the, so Elena, I'm sure that you have got your answer. Any question? If it's clear, write down in the chat box and we are just moving ahead. So I heard for the first time, yes, it happened here. High BP is very dangerous. Okay, so dear, that is to maintain, that is myogenic autoregulation, to minimize the changes in GFR and minimize the changes in the afferent arteriole, so that we can protect our delicate organs, no? So that's all. This is the RAS mechanism, and I'm sure that now you are able to relate with the, what is this? RAS mechanism, agar kidney pressure. So it is increasing the blood pressure. That's why they have given this meme. I pasted that meme, by the way. So arrange the following step in the sequential order. Excessive loss of fluid, stimulation of osmoreceptor, stimulation of hypothalamus, release of ADH or vasopressin. ADH has other name, vasopressin. ADH has water absorption. Increase in the body fluid, switch off osmoreceptor and suppress the release. Oh, so you know what is the sequence. Steps of the neural mechanism. They have given purely neural mechanism here that we did. Miss, I had one doubt. What if cortisol level increase? Then what will happen? Because one time, right? So dear, you know what? We will see it in the hormone chapter. So cortisol is basically secreted by the adrenal cortex itself, regulating our blood, what do we say? Glucose and all. Or like sometimes cortisol level is high means stress. It is causing stress also. And it is helping us, maintaining the RBC production, maintaining the glucose level of the body. So don't worry, we have to see the cortisol in detail. It has a lot of function in the body. So what happened to your P sir then?
He had very high cortisol level and he was scolding very badly.
Sometime in the life will cortisol be someone's dopamine. Oh, when cortisol level is maintained, it's good. Cortisol level is maintained when high, it causes stress. When it is low, it's good. And it is balanced, by the way, dear, right? So when we talk about this cortisol, which is secreted by the adrenal cortex area, it is maintaining our sugar and all. So it regulate metabolism, regulate the sugar level, or you will see, I'll tell you that it will be producing, boosting the immunity system. So too high means also not good. It is like causing stress in the body. Excessive loss of the fluid. First, when there is the excessive loss of the fluid, what happens? You kids know, it will stimulate osmoreceptor, stimulate hypothalamus, secrete release of ADH, and then, it's like simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A is the perfect answer. Anandi, Vaishnavi, Sidra, Eslia drew. Next question. And there also, I am sure that, okay, Darshak wrote the answer. In a life, will of cortisol be someone's dopamine? Syed also wrote the answer. Elena. Oh, it should be balanced here. it's like if too low, not good, if too high, not good. So goal need to be balanced cortisol, no? Because more means anxiety. So people who are like always stressed, always having anxiety, they have more cortisol level in their body. Our mood also affect our immunity, our brain system, our hormonal system. So that's why we say that live the happy life, joyful life. Stay away from the people who give you unnecessary stress, anxiety. They're not good for your mental health. Mental health does matter. So Zahra, Elena, Aslia, Darshak wrote the answer. I'm reading the name, huh? So those kids, Darshak, Malhar, Zerusha, Zahra, all the kids have to write down their answers. Alina, Aslia, Darshak, Malhar, read the question carefully. Activation of juxtaglomerular cell to release renin is when there's the decrease. Oh, mainly sodium ion decrease, but it's not there. So ultimately, we know that blood flow will go down, BP also go down, because when sodium ion is low, no, BP will low, and this blood volume and all will be low. So D is the appropriate option. Because ultimately when GFR is less, why GFR is less? Because BP is less and flow is less, right dear? So stimulus of activation of juxtaglomerular cell to release renin is or R. But yes, you are right. But we saw that sodium ion decrease. But kids, you know, it should be like all of the reason, most appropriately GFR decrease. But why GFR will decrease when all these stuff will be decreased? No. So let's choose D when we have the D option. Anandi, Zarusha, Aslia, Vaishnavi. Next question for you kids. Select the incorrect option from the following. GFR low, GFR decrease. But dear, as per NCRT, it should be C. So those kids who wrote C, it should be the perfect answer. As per the NCRT, it should be, the C, because we know that sodium ion and GFR, they mentioned it specifically in NCRT. We have hypothalamus, amygdala, etc. Emotion system, it's natural. I thought it was hypothalamus. Limbic system also exists, yes. And the hypothalamus also involved in the emotional, this control. Okay, so dear, now you have to choose the incorrect option. They have given this RAS mechanism flow. Limbic system is there, I checked, lol. Oh no, hypothalamus also involved in emotional, regulating emotions. Aslia wrote the answer. Aslia. So dear C, when GFR is less, obviously it will be activating juxtaglomerular cell, that's first step, which secrete renin, angiotensinogen converting into angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1, it's not renin, it's angiotensin converting enzyme, convert into the angiotensin 2, which is the powerful constrictor, and then acting on the adrenal cortex to release the aldosterone, which increase reabsorption. So fourth is wrong. Increase the absorption of sodium and water from distal pea. Yeah, that's true. So C is the perfect answer. Aslia, Zerusha, Vaishnavi, true. Next question. Okay, so kids, that's all. We have to continue with the hemodialysis. So whenever there is the chronic kidney failure, in that condition, we go for this hemodialysis. Hemodialysis, dialyzer machine. Have you heard about the artificial kidney? That is the hemodialysis. What happened here? So see kids, when we talk about the hemodialysis, what exactly we do, we take the blood from the artery, radial artery, which is the artery of our arm. We put it in the dialyzer, this is the dialysing machine, or we call it artificial kidney. And it is filled with the dialysing fluid, which will be helping in the filtration of the blood, how we are going to see it. And filtered blood will be sent back to the body by the radial vein. Radial vein is the vein of our arm. And in this way it needs to be done on the regular basis of time. So we are just going to see the hemodialysis, and then I will tell you how exactly this machine works. And see, blood is sent to the tubes that is present inside the dialyzer, right, dialysing machine. This dialysing machine is filled with the fluid. So fresh dialysing solution is injected here, and then used, this dialysing solution will be released out with the urea and excess of the salt. So when we are injecting blood in these membrane, in these selectively permeable membrane, how exactly they work? They will be taking the urea from high to low concentration, because this dialysing fluid do not have any urea. So its function is to release the urea out via the osmosis, right, diffusion. Second is like whatever excess salt there in the blood will be released out. So this dialysing fluid having the same concentration as blood, except some salt and these nitrogenous waste, so that they can be moved out from along the concentration gradient from high to low concentration, and in this way blood will be filtered. So after the blood filtration, it will be sent back to the radial vein, that is the vein of our artery, vein of our this hand. And that's how this process artificial kidney work. I have to leave the class, I'm going out. Okay dear, bye Aslia, see you. Kidney donation, yeah, kidney transplantation is also the other process. So let's see dialysing, hemodialysis, how exactly they do it, and what all stuff you have to remember about this. So let's see the hemodialysis. So dialysis means purify, hemo means blood. We will be purifying the blood. We called it artificial kidney, right? Artificially blood is purified. Blood is purified by this process, dialysis. When malfunctioning of kidneys happen, lead to accumulation of urea. In blood, this condition called uremia. So I just told you in the beginning of the class that we have a normal amount of urea present in the blood. Can you tell me the quantity of the blood that I have told you? So normal
20 to 30 grams.
Oh, that's excreted. 20 to 30 gram urea is excreted per day in the urine. Normal concentration of urea in our blood, which is there, like in the blood, some concentration of urea remains. So normal concentration of urea in blood is there, and I told you it's around 17 to 40 milligram per 100 ml of blood. But when amount exceed than this in blood means uremia. That means more urea is accumulated in the blood, which is harmful. 100 ml of blood. So this is the normal amount of urea. It is considered normal urea in the blood. But when the amount exceed means uremia condition. Uremia means more amount of the urea accumulated in the blood. Okay dear, so that's the uremia, and we have to filter this out using the artificial kidney, and then we will see the kidney transplantation also. So dear, see, Urea is removed by this process, hemodialysis. By this process means hemodialysis. We are talking the hemodialysis. So what exactly we do? Blood is taken out from the patient and we decrease the temperature. When we are taking blood out, we have to decrease the temperature of the blood to 0 degrees Celsius so that the protein that is there, enzyme that is in the blood gets inactivated and not doing the unnecessary reaction. Second, we will be adding anticoagulant, right? We will be adding heparin in the blood because we have to prevent the coagulation also, because once blood is out from the body, coagulate. So we will be adding heparin in it so that we can prevent the blood clotting. And then that blood is passing through the machine, through that selectively permeable membrane, and through that membrane it will be releasing all the urea excess solute out in the dialysing fluid, and filtered blood will be given back to the body. But before we take it back to the body through the radial vein of the patient, we have to bring the temperature back to the normal 0 degrees Celsius to normal body temperature. We have to raise the temperature of the blood, right? And second, we have to put the this coagulant there, right? So that means we have to neutralize the excess heparin in the blood that we added to prevent the coagulation. So these two things we have to do before taking the blood in the system. So that's the full process of hemodialysis. So blood is taken out. What is the process? And then we will be talking about that machine. Blood is taken out from the patient body, right? From the artery of the patient, from radial artery, specifically of the arm, radial artery of the patient. And what we'll do after that? We will cool that blood. It is cooled to 0 degrees Celsius to make the protein inactive, enzyme inactive, to inactive protein or enzyme for the unnecessary, to prevent the unnecessary reaction, enzyme. Also after that, we will mix it with anticoagulant, example heparin, so that blood won't be showing the coagulation. And then pumped into dialysing machine. So how that machine exactly work? I'm drawing the machine and then we will be writing down the function of every part.
I'm sorry, Mom, can you go back to the previous slide for a second? Thank you.
So dear, I hope this page is clear to you all, that what all condition we have to maintain to filter the blood, right? Prior inserting it in the machine, we have to keep all this thing maintained. This is the dialysing machine. So we will be, this circulating blood, we will be pushing the blood here from the artery of the patient. This is the pump to circulate the blood in the dialysing machine. Pump means it will circulate blood in dialyzer. And what will happen? This is filled with the dialysing fluid. Dialysing fluid. This is the outlet to add fresh medium, fresh dialysing medium. Waste or used dialysing fluid taken out from here, and filtered blood will be filtered blood to renal vein of patient. Sorry, not renal, radial vein of patient. So this dialysing fluid and this the selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane. What is the purpose? They are basically a cellophane tube, cellophane membrane, made up of cellophane membrane. They are impermeable for big molecules, impermeable for macromolecule, plasma protein, and permeable for small solutes. Permeable for small solutes. Example, nitrogenous waste, urea, uric acid, creatinine, minerals. All these things can be filtered out. And also it separates blood from dialysing fluid. Separate blood from dialysing fluid. Okay dear, now what is the purpose of dialysing fluid? It is having the same concentration as blood, except it doesn't have excess of the solute or it doesn't have the urea, so that these small solutes can be this diffused along the concentration gradient from blood to dialysing fluid. So that is the purpose using dialysing fluid here. So I'm just writing down about this dialysing fluid. So it has same osmolarity as small solute, some small solute, but it doesn't have this nitrogenous waste. Nitrogenous waste. Urea, uric acid, and other, this creatinine and all. And these waste diffuse from blood to dialysing fluid. Blood to dialysing fluid. Along the concentration gradient. That means from high to low concentration gradient. And that's how the blood is filtered. and then filtered blood, we bring it back to the normal temperature. I'll be writing down it ahead, right? So kids, I hope the mechanism is clear and the function of each thing that is used here is clear. And once the things are moved out, they cannot be absorbed, right? So dear, remember one thing, we cannot absorb the things back. So yes, no absorption takes place. Things cannot be moved back once they are gone in the dialysing fluid. They don't have any option to absorb it back. So no absorption takes place. Once they are gone, gone. Right, dear? That's all. This is about the system. That's about the dialysing system, hemodialysing system. I'm adding some more point that after this separation, after this filtration, what all happen. So such a process of separating what? Separating small solute from macromolecule. Macromolecules, because macromolecules are never filtered out, right? Collides from this, what do we say, with the help of selectively permeable membrane. With the help of selectively permeable membrane is called dialysing. This process is called, its membrane, called dialysing. Dialysis. Now the blood which is coming out of artificial kidney is warmed to body temperature, and also we are adding anti-heparin here to neutralize the heparin that we mixed anti-heparin to restore its normal coagulation. Normal coagulation, coagulability, coagulation, and returned to vein of the patient. As simple. So dear, that's about the hemodialysis, right? That's about the blood filtration done. This is the one way to treat the patient. So we have to do this process repeatedly. And second, you kids told me that kidney transplantation, yes. So in some case, to correct the kidney failure, we do the kidney transplantation. So I'm writing down the other thing that we can use to treat this condition, kidney transplantation. It is used to correct kidney failure. We are taking kidney from the close relative only, so that we can reduce the immune system reaction. Right, dear? So we check for the blood, this group. Apart from that, I told you that we have some addresses on the tissues. So these tissues should be matched. They have some complexes on the tissues. Our each cell of the body have certain kind of address on them, and they can sense that if we transplant any other organ in the body, our body can sense that this is not my part. So let's reject it. Let's attack on it because this is not my part. So we have to prevent that graft rejection. For that, we prefer always close relative for the transplantation. Blood, relative. But the dialysis is not good. But for emergency, we do it. Yes, dear, because we want to save the person life. Yeah, that's true. Useless, unless it's stone. Unless it's someone you hate. Oh my goodness. So why that person would give the kidney? So kidney is taken, I told you, from the close relative. Kidney is taken from the healthy donor, from donor, and we always preferably close relative. Those who are our direct blood relative, close relative, to minimize its chance of rejection by the immune system. Its chance of, because our body reject when it finds that it's not mine by immune system of host, of patient who is receiving it. As immune system can attack something which is foreign, immune system can attack something that is not recognized, that is not recognized as a normal part of body. By inducing immune system, it will be attacked. So those people who have undergone the surgery or such transplantation, throughout the life they are on the immunosuppressive drug. So those who are suppressing their immunity so that organ won't be rejected. So they depends on immunosuppressive drug. Immunosuppressive drug is used. Drugs are given, and sometime it require lifetime to suppress the immune system so that it would be accepted. Immune system would never attack. We are weakening their immunity. So dear, that's all. So this is the other way to correct the kidney failure. And if our body doesn't recognize this organ, it will be rejected. So you can imagine, transplantation, rejection. उस बेचारे की किडनी भी गई और बॉडी ने भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया. So how bad it would be. So that's all. This is about the kidney transplantation. So ma'am, does it affect the immune system wholly, like even infection? Yes, 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 dear Vaishnavi. These people would be having weakened, this immunity. Worst case. Right. So yes, when we are suppressing immunity, ultimately it is affecting overall immunity of our body. Right, dear? That's all. These are the conditions we saw. I already told you some diseases, some disorders like kidney stone. We have this glomerulonephritis. What is it? Glomerulo means glomerulus, nephron, itis means inflammation. This condition is the disorder, right? So some disorder we saw, kidney stone, renal calculi we saw. I'm just writing down about this. I don't know if I've told you this, glomerulonephritis. Glomerulonephritis. What happened? Itis means inflammation. Wherever you see the term itis at the end of any organ, means inflammation of that organ. Simple. We also called it Bright's disease after the name of scientist. So what happened in this condition? This glomerulus are inflamed, and when glomerulus inflamed, blood is not filtered properly. So that means this RBCs, this WBC, some protein also filtered out in the blood. So generally normal blood is like this, healthy urine, right? This is the healthy urine. Unhealthy is pinkish in color. It has albumin protein. It has different protein from the plasma, RBC, WBC, which generally not present in the normal urine, and it is due to glomerulus inflammation, right dear? So that is basically glomerulonephritis, inflammation of glomerulus and you saw that it is filtering all the stuff from the blood, because glomerulus is the main site for filtration. And what happened when glomerulus not working properly? So it causes albuminuria. So albumin protein, albuminuria, that means this protein will be there in the urine. Large protein in urine, large sized protein actually, large sized protein in urine. Abnormal condition. It causes hematuria. Hematuria means RBC in urine, presence of blood in urine, blood, redness. Pyuria. Pyuria is like pus cell, WBC cell, or inflammation, say that WBC were acting on the inflammatories, foreign agents, so that form the pus cell. So presence of pus in urine. RBCs are forming the pus. So presence of pus in urine, that is the condition in the case of glomerulonephritis. Dangerous. Renal calculi, we saw already. Kidney stone. What is the reason? I told you, right? So dear, that's all. This is about the disorder. And the last, very, very simple portion, that is other organs involved in excretion. Do you know what all other organs involved in excretion? So their secondary function, primary. Yes. So primary function is different, like sweat gland secreting sweat, like releasing sweat. Primary function to regulate body temperature. Secondary function, excretion. So their primary purpose is not excretion, but secondary function is that, right? So kids, you know what? You said glands present on our skin. It can be sweat gland, it can be wax gland. Second, our lungs. Excretory product means metabolic waste. Our lungs release CO2, excrete CO2. What is the amount of CO2? 200 ml per minute. Okay, dear? So now let's see what happened in case of excretion by different organs. And third is the liver. So we will see that liver also excrete the pigment, right? Produce the pigment, and they are containing some excretory, this metabolic waste. So other organs involved in excretion. So we will complete this chapter today. We'll do question, next class, new chapter. Okay, dear? So lungs, excrete. First organ, lungs. Its primary purpose is breathing, respiration, you know. Excrete 200 ml CO2 per minute. Second is, this liver, bile pigment, excrete bile pigment. Cholesterol, degraded steroid, because you know that liver detoxification, involved in detoxification, degraded steroid, vitamins, unused vitamins, degraded vitamins, detoxed drugs. So all these are excretory waste produced by liver. Skin has sweat gland and wax gland. So sweat gland excrete sweat, release sweat. And sweat composition, the primary function to regulate body temperature, we know. Secondary function of sweat, primary function of liver is to produce bile juice, we know, for the emulsification of fat. So dear, see, this contain this watery fluid, sweat is watery fluid. It is watery fluid, contain NaCl, small amount of urea. Yes, your sweat has urea. That's why it has some smell, odor, lactic acid. Bacteria also produce the odor. Amino acid, glucose, etc. So this is the composition of sweat. And other gland is the wax gland, sebaceous gland. Other name of sweat gland is sudorific gland. Sebaceous gland. So this gland make our skin, make the barrier, skin barrier, but it also, this produce wax, eliminate sterols, hydrocarbon, waxes through sebum. And what is sebum? This is the waxy layer. What is sebum? So sebum contain other stuff also, right dear? So what is that? When we see the sebum composition, it also excretes some metabolic waste also, right? It is the waxy protective layer. Sebum is actually waxy protective skin barrier, right? Secretion which like provide a protective layer around the skin or on the skin covering, oily covering of the skin, right? Protective oily covering for skin. But along with that, it is excreting sterols, hydrocarbons and all for skin. So dear, that's about the different excretory stuff that is there in the body. Different excretory, organs in our body that involved in the excretion. That's all. So we are doing some question. I'm leaving you after this, and in the next class we'll be starting new chapter. In case you have doubt, please write down in the chat. If the everything is clear, write down yes in the, or share this thumbs up in the chat box. Okay, Vaishnavi wrote, Elena, Drew, Zerusha, Elena. What about the kids? If this is clear, if you have any doubt, you can just use your mic or chat box. Done? So if...
But what about the phospholipid in the liver?
Phospholipid?
It removes out, right? Liver.
Yes, so liver involved in detoxification. It will be excreting all the excess degraded steroid, all the vitamins, drugs, cholesterol, whatever, bile pigment may we have the lipids. ये सारे lipids ही हैं. So when we talk about the phospholipids and all, they are also, if they are in the excess, if they are degraded, they will be also thrown out of the body. No dear? It involved in the detoxification. Urine is concentrated with the help of, how to make the urine concentrated? Caffeine cause dehydration. Alcohol cause dehydration because they suppress ADH secretion. So kids, which option you are choosing? Urine is concentrated with the help of ADH only, aldosterone, both 1 and 2. So Elena wrote A, Darshak, Malhar, Zehra wrote C. So just try to recall what we saw, how do we make the urine or prevent urine concentration? How do we make the urine concentrated? It's ADH. We saw when we were doing the urine, this loop of Henle, Vasa recta wala concept. So we saw that ADH mainly act on the collecting duct and reabsorbing water maximum. Aldosterone ka main purpose is to absorb sodium ion, and with that process water also reabsorb. But when we talk about the concentration of urine, in that ADH only has the role. So dear, yes is the perfect answer here. So Vaishnavi Sidra wrote the perfect answer. Next question is, which one is an important constituent of RAS system? Juxtaglomerular apparatus, cells, plasma cells, glomerulus, erythropoietin. Easy. So when they ask you urine concentration, we saw only ADH, even in the urine concentration countercurrent mechanism. So all the kids wrote answer. Zerusha, Malhar, Zehra, Elena, Darshak. Yes, so perfect answer would be juxtaglomerular apparatus, responsible for RAS mechanism, initiate this process. Vaishnavi, Anandi, Zerusha, Elena, Sidra, keep it up kids. Next question, RAS pathway mainly control ultrafiltration. You kids know. Out of all, which is making the correct sense? Although they have not given the exact option, but you know. And rest of the question we'll be doing at home. In the next class, we'll be starting new chapter, that's locomotion movement. I will bring all the theory on the board and we will just do the mechanism part so that it will save our time. Two more chapters after this. Yes, dear. Only neural control coordination and chemical control coordination. So out of all, blood pressure making sense. So we are choosing C, Vaishnavi, Elena, Sidra, Anandi, because it has nothing to do with ultrafiltration, or ultrafiltration means glomerular filtration. No hormone responsible for that. Oh, like GFR rate. Wait. RAS mechanism mainly control. Right. Wait. RAS mechanism. It is involved in increasing GFR. So GFR will increase when the ultrafiltration will increase. What do you say, kids? So mainly control, what do you say? Cardiac output, blood pressure.
No, but because the blood pressure increase, the overall filtration will increase.
So it has like some, I need to check it once. But they have not written this GFR, they just wrote ultrafiltration. Chalo, just choose this blood pressure, but I will just still check this option. If they have written both the option blood pressure and GFR, then we would be choosing GFR mainly. A fall in the GFR activate, so we did this, you know, you kids will be doing it at home. Angiotensin is converted to angiotensinogen is converted into this by, you kids know, which of the following statement is correct with respect to kidney function regulation? So you will be doing this question. In the summers, loss of the water, excess loss of water due to sweat, and then we have to conserve water. More ADH will be released during summers, right? So dear, we will be meeting in the next class and you will be solving these questions at home. In case you are stuck in any question, you will be sending it to me, right? We already have done all these. See, all these questions. Primary function of the sweat is to regulate the body temperature. And secondary is like to excrete all this stuff. We'll be doing the next chapter in the next class. So see you all. Have a great day. In case you have any question, please write down or speak up. Just write down one word. And we didn't know or realize when time is finished, bro. Yes. So dear, in the next class, locomotion movement, we will be like studying all the chapters seriously, because we have to complete our syllabus on time, so that you kids would be getting good time to revise. Immunosuppressive drugs, yes, cyclosporin is one of them, that is used to suppress the immunity. That we'll be doing in the class 12th with me and with the botany teacher. Thank you, dear. ANF, yes, we saw ANF, and then we need to do 2 chapters left, okay? No, yeah, after locomotion movement, 2 chapters only. RAS mechanism, yes, we saw RAS mechanism. So write down, dear, one word and leave the class. Have a good day. See you all in the next class. Yes, RAS system and dialysis, that's true. So bye Malha, Rida, Elena, Afifa, Habiba, Vaishnavi. See you kids. Yes, we saw renin with single N. That's true. So I'm just leaving you now. Yes, see you later. Good night.